friends, family, dearly beloved, I thank you for gathering here with me today as we proceed in the townhouse series that I've started on my channel. This is the third townhouse out of 4 that we are furnishing, and this one is inspired by France, more specifically Versailles. I wanted this to be a very provincial home, but still very elegant. I use a lot of Felix André's Chateau set, as well as Pierre Sim's Domaine du Clos, and also some Felix André Paris items. Now let me go ahead and get into what I'm actually doing on the screen here. This is going to be a longer video than the other townhouses because there's so much detail and clutter that goes into this build. I think cluttering was what took me the longest time. Felix André has a ton of gorgeous bookshelves in their Chateau set, and I used a lot of them, and of course all the bookshelves are empty, and so I wanted it to look very full and lived in. So that takes a majority of the time here. Also, this townhouse has 3 stories. Technically, it has an attic space, which I will be getting into a little bit more later. But that also adds to the length of this build. I am going in right now and furnishing the front garden area, and I wanted the skill building activity for this townhouse to be gardening. In the brownstone, we have arts like painting, but also working out like gym, because I imagine that the 2 Sims there are a married couple, and one of them is an artist and works from home like in the loft area, and then one of them is professional basketball player. And then in the Kyoto house, directly to the left of the Chateau house, their skill building activity is kind of pathetic, but it's just the bonsai tree. I think if you had Snowy Escape, which I do not, but if I had Snowy Escape, I would use a lot more from that expansion pack in this build for the gameplay aspect of it. Also, Spa Day, I mentioned that if you had like the meditation cushion, that would have been perfect for the Zen garden in the backyard of the Kyoto house. But anyways, if you have not seen the previous builds, where in this series there's 3 of them, I'll link them in the description below, as well as add little cards in the upper right hand corner of this video in case you want to go and catch up, get yourself up to speed on what we've been doing in this series so far. But for this build, I just showed you guys the floor plan for the first floor, like the overall layout of things. It is a very spacious townhome, and I really like that the way I set it up. I feel like it flows really well. I really like that when you walk through the front doorway, like you can see the stairs, but then you go through, and I don't know, it feels kind of more like Versailles, like all these like long hallways with mirrors and stuff. So you can see I did a quick little bathroom there. I definitely could have fit like another bathtub in there or something, but it felt weird because it was right off the front door. So, and it's really like just for guests to use. So I don't know, I just made it a very large powder room. And then I quickly did this little piano area. I guess that's another skill building activity. That piano, that gorgeous piano, is from Hey Harry's Coastal Collection. And then the rug, the circular rug there, is from Joyce's Fox. I've been loving using a lot more Joyce's Fox CC in my builds. I think that their stuff is really great. I also think I'm going to do a video on my favorite CC creators and favorite like must-have collections, because that's something that changes a lot, and I'm always curious what other builders really like to use, like where they get their CC from. So yeah, look out for that video if you're curious about, you know, all the CC that I use in my builds and where things come from. I use a lot of like the same CC over and over, so I think it would be a good idea to make a video on that. And you know, it changes pretty often, so I can update it in future videos in time to come. But anyways, getting on and talking about what I'm doing in the builds here. I quickly furnished the dining room. This is a very open plan dining and living space. This living space is also the family room. So I wanted to make it cozy but still very elegant looking. Those sofas are from Pierre Sim's Domaine du Clos, and then I'm just adding some pillows from Pierre Sim and Felix Andre, I believe. And then that coffee table is also from Domaine du Clos. Those plushies in the corner over there are from Felix Andre and Clutter Cat's Verylicious set. Oh, I forgot that there's also a bar in here. So that's another skill building item that your Sims could use for gameplay. Off the side of the dining room, we have this office, and I love the way that this office turned out. And I'm starting to realize that I just really like making offices and cluttering offices. I think it's so gorgeous, and I love using all of this like different book clutter I have. And I really like the way that these open shelves ended up looking, especially with the backdrop of this wallpaper. This wallpaper is from Felix Andre's Georgian set. I really like this blue wallpaper. It's definitely not my style, like not something I would normally gravitate towards, but I love the way it looks in here. That really long plant is from the Clutter Cat, and then that desk is from Pierre Sim's Domaine du Clos. So I really try to stick to Domaine du Clos, Paris, and Chateau. Those 3 CC collections, because obviously they're inspired by France, and it really does give off that French provincial but elegant design style. And I really love the blue. I did carry the blue color palette throughout a lot of the house. So like in the primary bedroom, you'll see a lot of blue. I think I kept the bathrooms pretty neutral, like just very like plain white. I'm also right now making my own little gallery wall using some frames from Charlie Pancakes, Pierre Sim, and Joyce's Fox. And yeah, that's it for this office space. It took a lot longer to furnish than I'm actually showing you guys here, because as you may be able to tell from the screen, if you look at the bottom left, or not the bottom left, just the bottom bar, you'll see that I'm actually in my Sims inventory pulling stuff out. So the way that I filmed this video, along with all the other videos, but especially with a build like this, is I actually pre-built everything, like pre-furnished this entire townhouse, and then went back and put it all in my inventory, and then refurnished it while recording, because had I not done that, this video would have been forever. Like it would have been so long, and it just would have been me like placing stuff and deleting it and placing and deleting it. And no one wants to watch that. You just want to watch me like actually, you know, do stuff, not make something and then delete it and start over again. So I'm pulling everything out of the inventory. I've already placed all this stuff, which is why it's going really fast. But this is not actually how I build, just so you guys know. I'm now in the pantry of the kitchen. So the way that I set it up was I wanted to have a giant kitchen, but then the kitchen ended up being like too big, where I didn't know what to do with all this space. And it was like, if I was actually cooking in a kitchen that big, it would probably be annoying that it was that big and that you have to walk that far just to get to like the other side. So I decided to make one side of this kitchen a little narrow, like galley pantry side. So it has the microwave and the toaster and like a little breakfast nook by this window here. And then you walk through the archway and then you have like the main chef's kitchen. I would imagine that this family is very wealthy and they don't actually cook much for themselves. So this giant kitchen is really just for the chef. They have a double oven stovetop thing, and yeah, lots of counter space, which I definitely cluttered up. I think I could have cluttered it up more, but to be completely honest, I was a little overwhelmed with just how much counter space there was, and also how much I had to clutter for the rest of the house, that I just kind of did, I guess, the bare minimum. It's not the bare minimum because there's still a lot of clutter in this build, but you know what I mean. You get the gist. I am using these countertops from Domaine Duclos. That range hood is gorgeous. The only thing is that it requires a medium wall height, at least, for it to work. Like, it doesn't come in anything smaller than a medium wall height. And I kind of wish that we had a smaller wall height. I understand why, because just to achieve that effect of like the visual effect of the range hood, it, you know, needs a big space, so it would probably look really weird if it was on a shorter wall height, but I digress. I'm using the pot filler that I use in literally every single kitchen now. It's from Hey Harry's Coastal Collection. It is a staple for me. It's not functional, but it just adds a little something to that stove area and makes it more realistic. I really like that the way this kitchen area came out though. And now I'm moving on to the backyard, which is only accessible through the kitchen. And I'm adding a chess table. Look at that. Look at me. Another skill building activity. To be completely honest, I have not actually fully play tested this build. I play tested all of the other ones fully, but this one in particular, not so much. I do know that all the floors are accessible, all the bathrooms are accessible, and you're like all the functional things, but all the little tiny things like, can your sim access those seed packets that are in the front yard? No idea, my darling. But I don't really feel like it. On Twitter, okay, so on Twitter earlier this week, I just made my Twitter Sims account, so starting to get more involved in the Sims community. And if you want to follow me, quick plug, my username is not professional woman child. It's PROF woman child. I will link my Twitter in the caption below. But go and give your girl a follow if you want to. But of course, the first day I make Twitter, everyone on Twitter in the Sims community was like fighting over Miss Griffey's build that she made and how it wasn't like play tested or whatever. There was some issue with it. I really don't see why everyone got so heated about it, but it did get pretty nasty. And so now I'm like, all right, I just want to let everybody know I did not fully and thoroughly play test every single aspect of this build. Disclaimer. But anyways, I decided to make a little picnic area in the backyard of this townhouse. I think it's so cute. That picnic blanket is from Joyce's Fox, along with a lot of the stuff that I put on the picnic blanket. I'm pretty sure everything except those pillows are from Joyce's Fox. It's such a cute little set, and I'm not really sure. I think it's Maxis Match. It looks pretty Maxis Match to me, but you guys let me know what you think. And then that tree with the lanterns is from Felix Andre's Grove set. I wanted it to be very romantic, candlelit little area. And then the gardening table is not actually functional, it's just a table, but It's from my Shuno-san, as well as those planter boxes, the same ones that I used out in the front yard. Now I'm doing a little bit of terrain paint. I don't know why I'm doing this now, because usually I save terrain paint for the very end because I don't trust that bitch, and I know that it could possibly delete itself when I the second you look away. I swear terrain paint just deletes itself. But I was feeling brave, I guess. So now we are in the upstairs portion of this build, and here I am using these bookcases, and I'm so upset about the shape of this build because of this upstairs portion, because I love the way that I hid the access to the upstairs attic in these bookcases. One of them is a secret door, which if you stay to the end for the screenshots, you'll see, like, I'll show you how it works. But for screenshot purposes, it was so hard to actually navigate through these hallways, because even though it's plenty of space for your Sims to walk around, it's not enough space for the camera to really move. And so, like, even furnishing these, it was kind of hard to furnish them without the walls getting in the way. And it's such a bummer, because it's probably my favorite aspect of this build is all of these curated, I would say, bookcases that, you know, all of this detail that you're really not going to see, because it was so hard to actually get screenshots of it, and it doesn't translate well on camera, and I'm so upset about it. But whatever. I mean, the most important part is this part, me cluttering it, which you can see just fine. So appreciate my hard work now, please. A lot of these books are from Felix Andre's Chateau set, and Hey Harry, Pierre Sims, David's Apartment has some good ones. My Shuno-san. Books, I think, are probably my favorite clutter item. I use them everywhere. Not all of these books are actually functional for your Sims either, but it doesn't really matter because, you know, they're so high up. I actually don't know if, like, you can click on a book that's really high up and your Sim will still read it. I think they would. I don't really know. I also forgot to add a ladder where there are these like rails for a ladder so that you could theoretically reach the top shelves. Totally forgot to do that. So let's just use our imaginations and pretend I did. I really did enjoy cluttering all these bookshelves though, and some tips I have for achieving the kind of like desired effect of bookshelves, because it really is an art form, is to not clutter up every single space. So definitely leave some spaces in between objects. Don't try to cram things into every single little slot, because it will just look like too much. You know, there is such thing as too much clutter, unfortunately. Also, pick out some items that aren't books, such as picture frames, statues, sculptures, plants, boxes, and incorporate those into the shelving as well. So like you just saw, I placed a little house actually that's from, I want to say, Pierre Sims' Teeny Weeny set, and it's meant to be like a kid's dollhouse, but it's not actually functional. It's just a decor piece. I sized it down twice and it fit in the bookshelves really perfectly, and I just thought it was a really cute little element to add in there. Like on the other side, I added a little freezer bunny plushie, and yeah, you know, switching it up. I'm adding a little stool here from Hey Harry, and then cluttering that stool up with some things from Clutter Cat and Felix Andre. So, you know, you just gotta play around with it. Also, I find that while it's not realistic, like in real life, nobody has all of these books be the same color. In The Sims, it looks really good in my opinion, if all the books are in the same color family. So for this one, I really carried a lot of the blue from downstairs up through these books, as well as combated it because the game can look a little like cold sometimes, especially if you're using a lot of white. So to combat the coolness, I made a lot of the books be like these peachy brown beige tones, and that warmed the space up a bit. Now this hallway, because it is really like, it's small but not so small that you can't fit other stuff in there, I wanted to add something else to the hallway, but I didn't know what, so I end up putting a fishbowl. Hey, shout out another skill building item. Look at me go. I really like said fuck it, I'm gonna give it all to The Sims. They have a lot to do in here. I wanted to make sure that you wouldn't be bored because while it's a very pretty build, it's like, you know, I wanted it to also be functional. So there's a fishbowl in this hallway as well as some seating. And then I do put a lot of framed photos up around the walls because there's just so much damn wall space with these medium height walls. The framed photos are really beautiful and definitely fit the theme of the house, which is like provincial French, Versailles. They are from Joyce's Fox, and they're really realistic, like oil Renaissance looking paintings, and they're very ethereal and match the vibes. So for this family, I envisioned it consisting of 3 children, 2 parents, and then actually a live-in butler. So the butler space is in the attic, and it's still a really nice space, but they don't have their own ensuite bathroom. I would have liked or preferred for them to have their own ensuite bathroom, but as I was furnishing, I couldn't really decide how I wanted the bathroom to be because they have a glass roof. Since they don't have any windows on the walls, I wanted them to get some natural lighting from the glass ceiling. And I thought it might be kind of strange to have a bathroom with a completely glass roof. But now that I'm talking about and thinking about it, I think that would be really cool if you had a bathroom with a completely glass roof, but no like windows. I think it would be really pretty, especially like if it's raining and you take a shower and it feels like you're in the rain, showering in the rain. That would be really fun. But missed opportunity. So they don't have their own bathroom. They have to come downstairs to use the bathroom, walk all the way down the ladder and stairs. And I guess hopefully they just don't have to pee in the middle of the night. But also they're The Sims, so they don't go to the bathroom unless you tell them to, right? Now I'm cluttering up the kids' room. I wanted to use the Fairylicious collection by Felix Andre and Hey Harry. That is what primarily inspired the kids' room, so the wallpaper is also from there, and it's a really fun set, and it's a really complete set. It feels very complete. Like you can make probably actually several different kids' rooms out of just that set alone because it has so many different swatches and there's so many different types of beds that you could use. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then this is the eldest sibling, I guess, the older kids' room. I wanted it to be very neutral in like gender. I guess same with the other one too. Although I did give like one pink bedding and one purple bedding, but you know, colors don't dictate gender or anything. Although both of the kids' bedrooms are exactly the same size, visually the eldest sibling's room looks so much smaller because I was so determined to use that damn bed canopy from Felix Andre's Florence set. I think it's so gorgeous, and it again matched the vibes. It felt like it would fit the Chateau theme, and also the parents in the primary bedroom that I'm decorating right now, as you'll see in a second, have a canopy over their bed. So I thought, why not? It takes up a lot of space visually, and just covers up the room. But I'm okay with that because, again, I was just so determined to use that canopy, and I like the way that it turned out. That bedroom is definitely lacking personality, but I also don't think that that's a bad thing because it's generic for any kind of sim that wants to live there. You could even make it a guest room or flex room. So, you know, it's generic, and I'm okay with it. We are in the primary suite now. I'm actually just finishing it up. I'm finishing up the primary bathroom, ensuite bathroom, and a little thing that you may have noticed throughout this build is that every bathroom, I wanted to make sure that every bathroom has a bidet. Those bidets are not functional, they're purely decorative, but they are from Hey Harry and Felix Andre's basic collection. And of course, what other build am I going to put them in? Like, this is the French Chateau build, and we're representing France. So bidets are in. And now we are up in the attic space, which is very bright. I had to change the time of day that I was working on it because the shadows from the glass ceiling were just blinding. The direct sunlight from overhead was absolutely blinding and could not see a single thing I was doing in here. I really love the way that the natural light falls in here, though. It's just so realistic and gorgeous. And can't you just picture this like being a real thing, you know, in France, like having a dormer kind of suite like this with all that natural light? It's gorgeous. Chef's kiss. Oh, look at that. I added a guitar. Another skill building item, check. This attic space, though, does have a full kitchen, and they don't have a toilet. So they have to walk downstairs, but oh well, sucks for them. They have a really gorgeous pink kitchen that I'm jealous of, so they at least have that. And now I'm just going to clutter up the kitchen space, and I think I'm going to end the voiceover here, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. Seriously, it helps a ton. And I will talk to you guys in the next speed build, which will be the final furnishing video of this series. So again, if you haven't seen the previous videos in this series, you can check them out in the bio down below. I will link them in the description box. And enjoy the screenshots, everybody. I will talk to you in the next video.